If you look at life like a video game, anything that increases one of your stats is a worthwhile hobby. I think that playing chess will make you more intelligent, helps your critical thinking. Reading books makes you more interesting and more knowledgeable. Any type of sport or physical training makes you stronger, fitter, better looking. It's gonna make you live longer. So whatever hobby you want to pursue and whatever you want to do, just make sure it's something that makes you better as a person. I mean, I know young men who make jewelry, who make knives. You know, that's a very productive hobby because it's a business that they're training themselves up to do. Just try to avoid things like video games, because video games actually increase nothing. They help you in no way at all. I would argue that they probably make you less healthy, more lazy. I used to preach that video games are a waste of time, and 10 to 15 years ago when I used to say this, they largely were a waste of time. Now they still are a waste of time. However, time you enjoy wasting isn't necessarily time wasted. So I, for example, like to read books. I read books, I listen to audiobooks. I don't benefit necessarily monetarily from them, they're just entertainment. Instead of watching TV, I read books. Some people play video games. What I would say is, whereas books can make you more interesting as a person, video games, you have to find a way of at least offsetting the damage done by the time you sink into them, by at the very least trying to be productive. I don't know, streaming your video gameplay on Rumble, trying to play competitively with other people over the internet and making videos and document your games and try and get some eyes on you so you're not just isolated by yourself messing around in your room with your face in a computer screen. I mean, most bad habits and most hobbies and most things that don't necessarily seem that productive can be turned into content creation. And that's something that we teach inside of the real world, regardless what it is. No matter, I mean, if you like shining shoes, if you do it to a professional level, you can create content and get eyes on you and get, you know, advertisers and make money and start a channel based on that. So I think video games are a waste of time still. Yeah, they're still a waste of time and the gamers are going to get mad at me. But there are, you know, extremely famous streamers who make a lot of money playing video games, and people say like, oh, well, they play video games, I should do the same thing. They're not just video game players though. They're entertainers, they're charismatic, they're hosting a show, they're funny. You know, their character looks good, I don't know. But these people who host the video game streams are more than just players themselves, because it's not the video games people are interested in. It's their personality.
What's the definition of a loser?
I think the universe is absolutely and utterly giving. I've never seen anybody dedicate themselves to something completely and fail. I've never seen somebody eat right, go to the gym every day, train really hard, and not be in good shape. I've literally never seen it. The universe is extremely giving. If you actually try and you actually want it and you're actually not making excuses, lying, talking shit, you're gonna get what you want. So when I see people who don't have what they want, I consider them losers. And this may be elitist, I understand that. But if I put myself through endless pain to end up where I am, it's very hard for me to have sympathy on the man who's afraid of pain. You're avoiding pain. I've been through endless. I now have everything I've ever desired. You have none of the things you desire. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? Give me an easy way out. Am I supposed to look at you and go, oh, poor dude? No, you were a fucking coward. You didn't go through the shit I went through. You didn't put it on the line. So you deserve your substandard reality. That's what you deserve. You're a fucking loser. Because if you actually wanted it and you actually tried, you'd have it. You could have anything you want. Universe is super giving. You want a fucking Ferrari, you can have it. You want that bitch, you can have her. You can have anything you want on the planet. There's not a girl I look at that I want that I can't have. Not one. That's my reality. There's not a car I can't have. There's not a house I can't buy. If I want to go to a yacht, if I want to go to Antarctica, there's nothing I can't have. Bam. Because I've decided to become this man. It's the same for absolutely every single one of you at home. If you want it, you can have it. If you're sitting there saying, oh, but I tried my best and I still didn't get it, you're lying. You didn't try your best. That is a fucking lie. The universe gives it to everybody who genuinely tried.
So what's the main thing that you want to get across to the world?
My main message is to resist the slave mind. I think this all the time. To understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you wouldn't be told it otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief you have and try to identify where it comes from and why you have it. I sit and argue with people, I discuss things with people, and they so fervently believe a point. And I say, why do you believe that so much? Do you have personal experience? No, but I saw the news. Why do you believe? The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules.
Yeah.
The game. So telling people to resist a slave mind and just be critical thinkers, keep their brain open, pay attention to things, be perspicacious, that's the general theme. And it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, liberal, man, woman, etc. It's just think for yourself. I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all going to starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor, what do I do? It was, I'm poor, I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Dunno. Where can I get some cash? Dunno. What work can I do? Dunno. I'll just go for a run then. And I'd just go for 3-mile run or go hit the punch bag and get better.
This resonates so deeply, man. This is exactly what I did.
That's exactly. You just have to say, well, I have to do something. I can't just sit still and die. A lot of people are happy to just sit still and die or jerk off and go to sleep and take a nap. Well, if that's what you want to do, then you can stay a loser. That's fine. I'm glad there are losers, because if everyone had Lamborghinis, my Lamborghini wouldn't be fun to show off. I need you to look at it and feel the deep pain in your heart of regret and failure. That's the whole point of it. I need to drive my Bugatti and everyone be looking at it going, I'll never have one of those. And I can get all their energy and feel it all, and it makes me happy. Fantastic. So you can sit at home and do nothing. But when I was poor, I had to go for a run. I couldn't sit still or lift weights or do something. I couldn't even sleep. So raw action solves everything. And I understood that at a young age. But as you get older, you get to look back and you get to put the whole story together, the whole tapestry together. I knew I wouldn't stay poor. Did I ever think I'd get this rich? Well, I never said I wouldn't, but did I ever think it would probably happen at this level? No, but it's amazing how the compounding interest of just endless raw action adds up. I've never had a lazy day. I've never skipped work, never missed an email, never had a day off, ever. You name if you were to go through the last 3 years of my life, you will see that there's never been a day where I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And it all just adds up, and then monumental success comes, and you get to laugh at everybody else, ha ha ha, and life's great. But I really believe God's given me one of the best lives, and I can't complain about anything bad that's happened. It's all been fantastic. And the majority of people are losers. And this goes back to why, when we were saying earlier, how I know the elites view us. Because I'm from a council estate in Luton, single parent household. And I've only been rich 10 years or so. And I despise losers. So imagine you're a billionaire born into a family, a lineage which has controlled Earth for hundreds of years. Imagine how much they despise us. Do you think they give a fuck about putting a bullet in me? Do you think they're gonna have any sleep at night missed? Do you think they give a solitary fuck about you missing your fucking parents' funeral because of the common cold? They don't give a solitary shit. Why would they? Because I already know how I feel when I listen to losers complain. Because this is what happens at a certain level of competence and power. You just get to a point where you're like, I'm tired of hearing your fucking excuses. That's bullshit. And you become, to a degree, cold and psychopathic. It's true. That's what happens. And I get it all the time. I get thousands of emails a day. Everyone I grew up with, people I know, I get it all the time. They'll message me, hey man, just unlucky. You are not unlucky. You are a lazy fucking loser. You are not unlucky. You are breathing. You're lucky. The unlucky ones are gone. You're alive, and you are a lazy loser. So a loser is anybody who does not have everything they want at the drop of a hat. That's what I call a loser. Because I have absolutely everything I could ever possibly desire. And if I wanted something that I couldn't have, I guarantee we can speak again in a few months. Interesting you say that, because I have this saying, and nobody can understand. I say money's not real. People say, what do you mean money's not real? It's not real. Money's not real. This number's on the screen. It's not a real thing. And once you start putting systems in place that generate huge sums of money, and once you get to the point where money basically has no value, like I do, I can go buy a Ferrari today, and my bank balance will look like this. Doesn't change. This money isn't real. It's just numbers. It's all fucking invented. It's printed from the sky. It's garbage. You just have to find a way to make people understand your value, and yeah, it can just appear from absolutely nowhere. And I went from completely broke to hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know what you're saying in regards to this other world, because there is a subsect to humanity. It's kind of strange. When I was broke, when I was on a council estate in Luton, I thought everyone was poor. And now that I have money, it kind of feels like everyone's rich. I go to buy a plane and they're like, no, I'm sold out. Don't you fucking sold out of planes? I go to buy a Bugatti and they're like, sold out. I'm like, all the shit.
Who are these people?
Yeah, everyone's bought everything. Like,
Yeah.
And it's crazy how many people out there have such ridiculous sums of money, truly ridiculous sums of money. There are so many rich people in the world, and it's kind of like your reality is based on, it's the Matrix, right? If you're broke, everyone's broke. If you're rich, everyone's rich. And a lot of people have this separation. I was lucky to live in both worlds, but a lot of people have this separation.
Fail big. That's right. Fail big. You only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress. Say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. That's why I am, one of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
A strong body is a strong mind. Secondly, there's a lot of discipline required in fitness, and discipline can be applied universally to all things. Discipline is a skill you can pull out of your pocket and apply to anything. You can force yourself to do something you don't want to do because you're disciplined, not because you're motivated, like we said earlier on, not because you feel like doing it, but because you're supposed to do it. Thirdly, this is something that not many other people say, so I'm going to say it. There is a unspoken rule amongst men, and I remember a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, there were women on Twitter or women on the internet saying, when men meet, do they always think about the possibility of violence? Does that cross their mind? And they were surprised by that fact. That if men we met for a podcast, but if you meet men in an unfriendly scenario where you don't know who they are, for a fraction of a second, you're thinking, can I win this fight? Are they going to attack me? It crosses our minds. We live in a very physical realm. Sure. Any man who doesn't has been polluted by the matrix and will never be competitive and is doomed to fail. But if you're truly competitive like you should be as a man, it always crosses your mind. And one of the important things about physical fitness that most people never talk about, never say, is men treat you different when they know that you'd be hard to hurt. Life treats you different. Women certainly do. That's an obvious one, right? Women like muscly guys because muscly guys can fight. Obviously that's not the case, but that's how they look dangerous, right? But men also treat you differently, which means society as a whole treats you different. I would argue that if you wanted to run any kind of company or even do sales or do anything else, let's go back to sales. Let's talk about what we were saying earlier. If I wanted to sell windows and I came in fantastic physical condition, the person who's buying from me, one, knows I'm disciplined, and two, knows I'm diligent. That's going to be some massive advantages from my sales perspective. Right. But also, I would argue that men are happy to look up to somebody who is physically strong in a different regard. I think it would be difficult for you to be a true leader unless you showed some degree of physical prowess. I think that's just the way the world has always worked at a deep level. When a man looks at a guy who's 6'8" and jacked and he says, we're gonna go into battle, you're more motivated to go into battle beside him because he's 6'8" and jacked. You feel like you're gonna win. You like the idea of being led by a warrior.
Right.
So there's that huge element to it as well. And the final part of it all is that it's so much easier to keep something than it is to gain something. And once you're in good physical shape, it's actually so easy to maintain as opposed to ever get there. It's so hard to get there that if you ever get there, you may as well just keep it.
Right.
It's because it's so easy to keep as opposed to lose. And I think it's in today's world, it's also a huge status symbol because we live in a world now where most things can be bought. You can buy Instagram followers and you can hire a Lambo and you can buy a hot chick to stand next to you, but you can't yet buy perfect physical conditioning. That is showing the world that you did it.
One rep at a time, it's earned.
You have to earn it. And it's one of the few things left that has to be earned the hard way that you can't buy, which I think is also very important. We can also continue to answer this question because you're going to feel different. You feel different as a man when you know you can, and I'm a peaceful man, but when you know if things happened or if someone tried to hurt the woman next to you, you could destroy the man who's trying to do it. You feel different. There's an aura that people can smell. The woman can smell it. Predators can smell it. Maybe perhaps if I was built differently, I would have been treated differently in jail. Good point, man. But everybody looked at me and they knew who I was and they thought, that's messy. Not him. It's just how humans work, right? And it's just how the whole universe works. It's how the animal kingdom works. Even lions and tigers, as fearsome as they are, go for the weakest antelope. They don't want a hard fight. They just want to eat, right?
Even mating partners.
100%. So society is the same. I'm sure there's scenarios in my life where I've walked down a street and I've been left alone, and the person who walked after me a few seconds later, because he wasn't built like I was the one who got mugged. I'm sure that's happened at some point in my life. But I'm the hard target. And I like feeling like the hard target. And I think that I approach life differently knowing I'm the hard target. I think you should go through life with respect.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems we have in the world today is too many people have just become comfortable with being idiots. You talked about rage bait.
Yeah.
99% of streamers are idiots. They're running around insulting and abusing and pranking innocent people and playing stupid games and insulting people they don't know. I don't find any of that funny. I don't think any of that's appealing in any way. When I see these idiot streamers running up to innocent people and scaring them or insulting other people they barely know for views or all of these kind of things, I think it's extremely infantile. And I think that not too long ago in the world, it would get you hurt. And I go through the world with respect as much as possible. I try not to disrespect people because I understand where I'm from. If you disrespect people, real bad things can happen. So I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit on Twitter and just insult random people. I think that's stupid. Even if they can't find me, even if they can't get to me, even if they don't have the capability, I think God himself is watching, and I don't think God likes people who do that kind of thing. I think that you pay the price one way or another if you're going to go through life and be that kind of person. You should be respectful to everybody. I'd be respectful right up to the point I hit somebody in the face. Why wouldn't I be? That's just how I am as a person. So I think being respectful is extremely important. I think it's what the world is missing. I think it's especially what the crypto community is missing.
Interesting.
I think the entire world is missing respect. I think there's a lot of people with a few followers and a big mouth who, perhaps because they live in a failed state like California and they live in a failed city like LA, they just go through life and they do a bit of drugs and their friends do a bit of drugs.
I don't do drugs.
Everyone just talks constant shit and nobody has any honor or respect anymore, and there's crack addicts everywhere and houses get robbed and rappers get shot and nothing matters. You just run your mouth, right? But if you live in other areas of the world, if you lived in Moscow or Bucharest and you were the kind of person who just talk shit on Twitter, you'd pay the price for that. You have to be a lot more careful in other places.
Basically, I made a decision about 23 years ago that I was a loser. I call myself a born loser. I don't feel that way now, but that's how I felt a long time ago. And I made a decision to go all the way in. And a lot of us have this mindset of balanced. It's important. We all have family, a lot of us have kids, a lot of us have wives, husbands, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, all that shit. But if you want to be part of that 1%, which I know all of you want to be, I'm sorry to say, you got to throw that balanced shit in the wind. The only way you can do it is if you go all the way in and talk to your family and say, I'll be home, but not today. So the thing about it is, the unbalanced mind allows you to do everything at a level that most can't even fathom. They look at you, they see you grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. And while they are at this mediocre level, you slowly rise and rise and rise. I call it front loading. If a lot of you right now want to be the best, you front load your life. So then that family that you were unbalanced with, you bring them on board when you're 40, 50, and 60 and say, okay, now I'm home forever because I'm making a shit ton of money, or whatever the hell you're trying to do. So it's all about that mindset of how hard you want to go. And a lot of people come up here and talk to you about a lot of bullshit. And they go home and they write shit to motivate you. Right now, I'm a 47-year-old smoke jumper out of British Columbia. I took 5 days off of jumping fires. I'm a retired man, got a shit ton of money, but it ain't fucking enough. I still must grind.
I want you to ponder these 4 questions. Here's the first one, and that's why. Why pay the price? Why work this hard? Why go this far? Why try to learn this much? Why try to do it all? Why try to see it all? Why try to have it all? Why do it? Why learn it? Why study? Why put yourself out? Why try to take on this much responsibility? Why develop yourself to the full? Why try to become all that you can possibly become? Why try to earn as much as you can earn, share as much as you can share, develop every skill you possibly can, see every human you possibly can, go to every class you possibly can, touch everybody you possibly can? Why do that much? Why go that far? Why share that much? Why give that much away? Why try to see everything? Why try to do everything? Why try to become everything? That's a good question, why? And you're the only one personally that can answer that question for yourself. You've got to have your own list of whys. Here's what I want you to do when you go home after you've left this extravaganza. Work on your list of whys. One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. In leadership training, here's what we learn. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. But if the why isn't strong, if your goals aren't powerful, if the vision isn't clear, the old prophet said, without a vision we die, without a vision we perish, without a dream we're nothing. From the movie The Professionals, I listened to Bill Heron give his testimony yesterday. From the movie The Professionals, it said, we joined because we believed. We stayed because we were committed. We left because we were disillusioned. But we came back because we were lost. Without a dream, we are nothing. I'm asking you to sit down with your family and develop a dream strategy. I'm asking you to make a list of what you want. What kind of health do you want? What kind of skills do you want? Herbalife has got the ability to make it all come true, but you've got to decide, what do you want? What kind of income do you want? What kind of gifts do you wish to bestow? What kind of power would you like to have? What kind of influence would you like to have? I'm asking you to go home and work on the why. Spend some time as you fly over the clouds and over the ocean back to where you came from. I'm asking you to have a vision by the time you've reached home of why you want Herbalife to work for you, why you want this kind of income, why you want this kind of recognition and these kinds of skills. I'm asking you to develop your own list of why. Because if you can come up with a strong enough list of why, Herbalife can furnish the how. Now here's number 2. The first question to ponder when you go home is why. Here's another good answer to why. It's the second question, why not? Why not see how much you can earn? Why not see how much you can learn? Why not see how many skills you can develop? Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see what kind of influence you can have? Why not see how many people you can rescue from oblivion? Why not see how many people you can reach? I shared one of my goals with a group just last night. Here it is, one of my goals, to reach the peak of my skills by the year 2000. So I've got some work to do by the year 2000, turn of the century, turn of the millennium. I want to reach the peak of my skills by the year 2000. And then come the next century, I want to utilize those skills in touching every human I can possibly touch for the rest of my life. Those are some of my goals. I want you to establish some of your goals. I want you to give thoughtful consideration to your goals. And why not? If a farm boy can wander out of Idaho and finally arrive at this extravaganza, why not you? If Mark Hughes can walk away from the tough side of town and find a few people and make a dream come true, why not you? If we've got good health for many, why not the rest? If it's happened for you, why not others? And why not you? I want you to take that personal. Why not? Why not? You've got to stay here till you go. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Why not see how much you can do, how far you can go? Now here's number 3. Why not you? I wish I could say that to each of you individually, but it would take a couple of lifetimes to sit down and talk with each of you individually. But I would rather do that. I'd rather sit down and talk with you and your family with the fire burning in the living room than to be standing on this platform. That's my true desire. I'd love to talk to you and your children face to face. That's what I'd really like to do. I'd love to spend a couple of days with each of you personally and pour out my heart, my soul, what's going on in my head, what's going on with me, see if we couldn't connect and find something valuable. But time doesn't permit for us to have those intimate conversations and get to know each other that well. So I've got to do it from up here. But I want you to take it personal. And my personal question to you is, why not you? You've got the brains. You can make decisions. You can study the plan. You can change your life. You can grow immensely in the next few years. You can make your dreams come true. You can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. You can become healthy. You can become powerful. Why not you? And I'm here to say that I'm ready to pledge my support to make your personal dreams come true. I asked the question, why not you? But I'm not going to ask it and just walk away. I'm going to ask it and walk with you in this journey as we take Herbalife around the world. And now here's my last question. My very last question on the questions to ponder is, why not now? There never was a better time. Mark has brought Herbalife to an incredible mountaintop. He's brought Herbalife with the help of others who have brought it here. It has been brought to a special moment. Barcelona was special, and Orlando was outrageous. But I'm telling you, this extravaganza has been the most awesome thing I have ever seen. All of your cooperation, the way you have learned and listened and worked hard to get it all, I congratulate you for that. But Mark brought us here. And what a time now for us to take this dream and not let it die. Take this dream and give it life. Take this dream and breathe into it your own personal spirit until finally it becomes a flame that burns around the whole world. Let's go do it now.